At number 25 is a tune that debuted a couple of weeks ago by Billy Joel. It's titled Piano Man. Listen carefully and see if he doesn't sound a little bit like Harry Chapin, the guy who sang Taxi and WOLD. Here's Billy Joel and his first hit record. Third week on AT40, now at 25. Billy Joel with Piano Man. And Thunder Island. This is Casey on AT40 in Hollywood. Now, I have the current smash by a man who once had to support himself at a job he didn't especially like. And then he turned his observations about that job into his first top 40 hit, a song that also gave him his nickname. It was about 7 years ago and times were really tough. He had a little bit of money, but not a lot. He just lost his recording contract, and no one seemed too interested in picking up his option. So, to pay his bills, he got a job as a cocktail pianist in a small bar that catered to an older, more conservative crowd. And instead of playing the sort of pop music he wrote and listened to at home, this artist, who worked under the name Bill Martin, had to play old standards, things like Tea for Two and Lady Be Good. Well, after a while, Bill couldn't deal with that anymore, so he added a few more current songs to his set. And pretty soon, a younger audience started dropping by along with the regular crowd. And Bill Martin says that the experience he had in that club taught him a lot. He says it gave him a better insight into people. Well, he used what he learned in a song he wrote about his experience at that bar, a song that 4 years ago became his first top 40 hit. And a song that gave Bill Martin, better known as Billy Joel, a well-known nickname, the Piano Man. This week, the Piano Man's at number 10 with his latest, Just the Way You Are. Billy Joel has been in the top 10 for 8 consecutive weeks with that song, still hanging in there at number 10 with Just the Way You Are. In Hollywood, this is Casey Kasem on American Top 40. We're counting down the biggest hits in the USA on our way to the one most popular song in the nation. Now on American Top 40, we're up to the latest hit by a superstar who says his life was changed in many ways by a motorcycle accident. It was late last year that Billy Joel was riding his motorcycle near his home on Long Island. Suddenly, a driver in a big car ran a red light in front of Billy. Billy says it happened so quickly that he didn't even have time to hit the brakes, and he smashed right into the side of the car. The bike stopped, but Billy went flying through the air. He said, quote, "I thought I was going to die, and I was mad at the car. I thought, you can't do this to me. I'm not ready to die." Well, Billy was lucky. He was wearing a leather jacket and a helmet, and so when he landed, the only serious injury was to his right hand. It was badly broken. But the effect of the injury went beyond his hand. While Billy was mending, he had a lot of time to think about his life and where it was heading. A few months before, he'd broken up with his wife and manager of 10 years. And then the press had criticized his flippant manner during a courtroom appearance in a music piracy case. Billy had time to examine all that, and he decided it was time to get serious. The result is his latest album, The Nylon Curtain. 4th week on the chart at number 25 in popularity, moving up 4 notches. That's Pressure by Billy Joel. 24 big ones to number 1, and we're counting them down.
The hits from coast to coast, coast to coast.
Now, I have the story of one of the hottest singers in the country today who credits his success to his manager, Mrs. Elizabeth Joel. Some years back, Billy Joel found that he was constantly on the receiving end of bad contracts and ill-conceived tours. And going through one manager after another never seemed to solve his problems. It seemed as if he could never find someone to rely on when he needed them. Then, one day, he took a look around himself and realized that his wife, Elizabeth, would be perfect for the job. In his words, she worked out the household financial thing, was good with money, budgeting, and all that stuff, so I asked myself, if you can't trust your wife, who can you trust? Billy Joel's answer to that question was to, on the spot, hire his wife. And his career has taken off like a rocket since then. Billy says that their working together hasn't hurt their relationship either as a married couple, not one bit. She's the family capitalist, he says. She knows if I get my hands on some money, I'll blow it. So she takes her cut and spends for the both of us. Unquote. As Billy's manager, Elizabeth Joel directs both the financial and the musical aspects of her husband's career. And that direction has led to the second smash single off his 52nd Street album. Here's the follow-up to My Life. Moving up 2 notches to number 14, Billy Joel and Big Shot.
Well, you went uptown riding. Big shot.
29-year-old Billy Joel from New York City at number 14 with his latest Moving Up 2, and it's called Big Shot. The 13 biggest hits in the USA are coming up.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
This is Casey in Hollywood, and now, the story of that rock musician who went to an extreme when things weren't working out for him. After he lost his girl and his music wasn't making it, and his whole life seemed to be falling apart, he checked into a mental hospital. When Billy Joel was just 21, 9 years ago, he found himself in a heavy period of self-pity, really feeling sorry for himself. Life was lousy, he says now, so I checked myself into a nut house. He committed himself to New York's Meadowbrook Hospital, where for 3 weeks he wore a hospital smock, slept in a dormitory with barred windows, and was kept tranquilized most of the time. For recreation, Billy Joel played cards with people who thought they were Napoleon, and he watched a lot of TV. After 3 weeks in the psychiatric ward, Billy Joel was sure he was definitely not as disturbed as he had feared. I realized that I'm okay. I really am, says Billy. I had just felt so isolated and sorry for myself that nobody could help me. I felt so sorry for myself I couldn't think straight anymore. End of quote. Well, after he left that mental hospital, it took a long time and a lot of hard work for Billy Joel to hit the big time. But hit the big time he did. He's in the countdown this week with his 10th Top 40 hit. 13 big ones to number 1, and we're counting them down.
Coast to Coast.
Well, now on American Top 40, we're up to the latest hit by superstar Billy Joel. If you've seen Billy Joel or pictures of him, then you know that he's got a boxer's nose. It's been broken. And recently, Billy talked about his nose to writer Timothy White. He said that when he was a teenager, he would box in amateur matches at the local boys' club gym in Hicksville, Long Island. Billy said that he fought as a welterweight and that he did real well. In a 3-year period, he won 23 out of 26 matches. But during one of those fights, Billy ran head-on into a left hook. That punch broke Billy Joel's nose. And back in the dressing room, when a good-intentioned friend tried to straighten Billy's nose by pushing it back into place and bandaging it, it made things even worse. Billy Joel says, "My nose was never the same after that. I've got one nostril smaller than the other, and my nose is kind of bent. I guess that's why my voice sounds like it does. I thought about having an operation, but I'm afraid it would change my voice. Anyway," Billy says, "as my mother would say, it gives you character." This week, Billy Joel is at number 34 in our countdown with It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
What's the matter with the clothes I'm wearing? But it's still rock and roll to me.
Billy Joel falling from 15 to 34 on American Top 40, 17th week on the chart with It's Still Rock and Roll to Me. 33 hits to number 1, and we're counting them down.
Casey's Coast to Coast. American Top 40.
AT40 originates in Hollywood. I'm Casey Kasem. Now we're up to a song by the man who 16 years ago was ready to end it all. This is the story of one of the lowest moments in the life of rock superstar Billy Joel. Back in 1969, when he was 20 years old, Billy thought he had nothing to live for. He'd just broken up with his girlfriend, and his music career was going nowhere fast. Billy says, "I felt the last thing the world needed was another failed artist." Billy Joel says he was ready to commit suicide, but he realized there was another choice. He could get help. He checked himself into Meadowbrook Hospital in East Meadow, Long Island, and he underwent psychotherapy for his problems. Billy says he learned that things weren't as bad as they looked, and he says the entire experience has stayed with him to this day. A song about it brewed inside him all these years, and recently it poured out. His anti-suicide song that's now on the chart. Billy says that while he was recording the song, he made a mistake and was going to do it over. But his wife, supermodel Christy Brinkley, reminded him why he shouldn't fix it. Billy says, quote, "I flubbed a line near the end, and you can hear me laugh. I wanted to redo it, but Christy persuaded me that living with your mistakes, after all, is the whole point of the song. So we left it in." End of quote. At number 27, not afraid to make mistakes, here is superstar Billy Joel and you're only human. The recent top 10 record this week falling from 18 to 27. Billy Joel and his 24th top 40 hit. You're Only Human, Second Wind, as the countdown continues.
The hits